When have you heard the word culture? When have you heard that word culture? Raise your hand in the participants box if you'd like to share how you've heard that word before. So today we're going to talk about culture and identity and what that means for us. So we talked about culture and what we think of it, but when you think of the word identity, what do you think of? What do you think that word identity means? So when we think of culture, the definition that we are going to use for our lessons right now is culture is a way of life. That's just one of the definitions we're going to use. That's the definition we'll use when we talk about culture. Culture is a pattern of behavior shared by a group of people. So we're in a culture of school online because we have a pattern of behavior that we're sharing as our group. And culture varies across the globe, but it also changes and varies across our communities here in Beaverton. And the word varies, in case you don't know what that means it is different across the globe. The globe is another word for the world, but it's also different across our communities where we live here in Beaverton. And then there's that word identity. And for us, for our lessons, there are many ways that we can make connections with our identities, but here are just 3 ones that we're going to focus on right now. Your identity can be made up of your culture, of yourselves, what you see. Some of you said that about what you look like and how you see yourself, and our experiences with the world. So our identity is helped shaped by things we've done in our life. That's what experiences with the world means. So it could be schools that you've gone to, TV shows that you watch, movies you've seen, books that you've read. Our identity is shaped by our culture and society. It's developed from birth. Our identity comes from values at our homes, and our identity can come from our community, where we live. I know that was a lot, and there was a lot of words to read, so I'm hoping that this next picture will help us think differently about culture and identity. It's called a culture iceberg, and it's ways of life and behavior that are easy to see and to notice. So here's the top of the iceberg, and here's the water. And so this is the part that we would see. The top part is the part we would see if we were on a boat. And the bottom part is below the water, which we don't always get a chance to see. So surface culture, what is above the water, that's things that people can see. So our languages, whether we speak one language or multiple languages, that is a surface culture. It's something people can see. Food that we use, that we either eat, just for dinner or for celebrations, and how we bring that into our lives, that's also something people can see. And that's another form of culture. Clothing, or the material that makes up our clothing, is also surface culture. It's what people can see. Our home culture, things we do at home, routines that we have at home. We talked about this a little bit in math of how do you talk at home? And I said, well, when we were growing up, My brother, my mom, and I would have dinner, and we would talk at the dinner table every night. Some of our friends, they would have culture through their sporting events. It's just where you live at home brings it up to you. And then there are also a big part of culture, which is what we don't see. How we view fairness and justice and the roles in our family. What we think of beauty and friendship and leadership. How we think about religion and marriage and decision making and problem solving. And our memories, which, sorry guys, my headphone fell out. A memory of a special experience that is a connection to your culture. And that is very personal to one person. Okay, so I know there's a lot of words and a lot of directions. I'm going to go over all of them right now. This is just day one, and we're going to go over this all week. So your directions say, in the coming days, each of you will share objects that represent your culture. Please begin to think about objects that will help us get to know you. Choose items that you are comfortable sharing with your classmates. That means there might be something that's really important to you, but you don't feel comfortable or you are not ready to share it with the class, and that's okay. You don't have to share that with the class, but I would like you to think of something that you could share with the class. And the main reason that we're sharing these items with our class is so we build a deeper respect for each other. Every households where we live and the people we live with, and the community is the area that we live in, has culture. And what is culture? Culture is a word for our way of life and how we do things. Culture is seen in people's clothes, cooking, traditions, and beliefs. Culture begins when we are very young, and in many cases, we may not even be able to remember when we started to learn about our own culture. So because of that, it's really important that you speak with your families. And I'm going to email grown-ups today and remind them that we're talking about culture this week. So hopefully they can help you with that conversation. So this is the beginning of your culture bag. You're going to pick or create one artifact. And an artifact is just something that you have that we can hold on to that represents surface culture. So you can pick something that is about language or food or clothing or something that you do at home, but it's something that you're going to be able to share with the class. And then I want you to pick or create an artifact that represents deep culture. And it's our deep culture that you'll probably want to talk to your grown-ups at home about. Because that deep culture is one of those things that starts in our homes. And this is an idea of what you can fill out for your culture. So remember that the surface level is things that you can see and hear. And below culture is what you don't see and maybe what we don't know. Now, when we fill out this chart, and we're not doing this today, we're going to do this on Friday. When you answer these boxes, it's okay if you're not comfortable sharing everything with the class. That's okay, and we'll respect that. But I want you to talk about these things with your grown-ups in your house. Now, I'm just showing you that this is here so that when it pops up on your assignments, you can look back on it to remind yourself of what we're going to do with our